Bro, I dare you to say these two words and then not see your dream life manifest to reality. And I'm saying here, 100% guaranteed. Like, I believe in this so much to the point where if betting was halal, I would bet my whole life on this. But these two words, before I tell you them, let me tell you a quick story that's gonna stick to your brain almost like forever. And by the way, this story is gonna show you the power of these two words. So, this guy, right? He goes to a new city, a new country he's never been to in his whole life. So he goes there just because he wants to like seek out knowledge, right? So I forgot which city exactly. I think it was like Spain that he went to. But he went to the city and he knows no one in the city. So he found a mosque. He goes into this mosque, he prays the prayers that he had to do, like I think it was Maghrib or Isha, and then it was nighttime. So this guy, he has no money, he has no house, he can't really do anything. So he's just sitting there, he's like, you know what? It's a masjid, it's a mosque. I can pretty much maybe like just sit there and sleep until the next prayer comes. He puts his bag and everything, and then he prepares to sleep. All of a sudden, the security guard comes and he's like, Habibi, what are you doing? So the traveler himself is like, well, excuse me, mister. I just wanna see here and I just wanna sleep until Fajr comes. And then as soon as Fajr comes, like the morning prayer, I'll leave immediately. I'll pray and then I'll leave immediately. So the security guy, apparently he's like one of those rude people. So he's like, Habibi, get out of here. I'm not letting you stay and sleep in this masjid. So the guy's like, bro, obviously he didn't say bro. He's like, please, mister, just let me sleep until Fajr and then I'm gone. Trust me, I'll be gone. Because I'm a traveler, I have nowhere to go and I have no money. And the security guard is like, Habibi, I am not letting you sleep right here. So he kicks him out. But here's what happened. He takes him by the, by the collar from the back, and then he kicks him out. And so the masjid, the mosque, was connected to like a bakery. Because I don't know how the houses back then used to be, or the mosques, or the cities, but the mosque was connected to a bakery. So here's the mosque, and here's the bakery. So this guy kicks him out right here, and so the guy himself, the traveler, he gets kicked, and then he falls down the stairs to a bakery. And so the baker himself, he sees the guy just all of a sudden coming down the stairs, almost like he just got kicked, and he's like, Habibi, what's wrong? What happened here? So the traveler himself, once again, he's explaining his situation to the baker. He's like, listen, mister, I have no house, I have no money, I'm a traveler, I'm just coming here just so I can like just seek up some knowledge from people, from the people that I'm trying to meet, but I can't really meet them right now, blah, 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 all that stuff. He's like, I just need a place to sleep until Fajr, and then I'll be gone. So the baker, he's like, you know what? It's okay, bro. I got you. I'll let you sleep in my place. Just sleep right here, and then like I'm just gonna be doing my bakery stuff here, but then you can just sleep right there. So obviously the bakers back in the day, they used to work a lot at night instead of the morning because they used to like prepare everything and then sell everything and all that stuff. So the baker is gonna be awake the whole night, and he let the traveler sleep in his bed. So here's what happened. This traveler goes to the bed, and the baker is in front of him. He's baking things. So this traveler, he notices that this baker, he's a Muslim, right? But it's like he's never seen such a Muslim, because what he used to do, this baker, like when he was baking the bread, he used to take the bread, do some stuff to it, like do the work they were supposed to do, and then put it in the oven. But while he's baking the bread, this guy is always like, Astaghfirullah, 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 which means like, I seek your forgiveness, Allah, like I'm asking for forgiveness, Allah. And so he says Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah while he's doing his work, and then he puts the bread in the oven. So this guy, he's in his bed, and he's just sitting, he's like, why is this baker, he's always saying Astaghfirullah, and then he's putting the bread in the oven? So the traveler, he's like, this is something so weird. So he's like, you know what, I'll just sleep. So he slept, and then he woke up. So the baker was still awake, right? So the traveler goes to the baker, he's like, excuse me, mister, I noticed that while I was trying to sleep, I kept seeing that you were working, but you kept saying Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. He's like, why is that? Why do you keep saying that? Like, I know what Astaghfirullah means, but it's like, why are you saying that specifically? And so the baker is like, well, like he gives them the ayat. It's like, well, you know, in the Quran it says that if you ask for forgiveness, Allah's going to give you this, 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 and that. So he's like, I've never asked for a single dua, for a single prayer. Like I never asked for anything from Allah, from the Creator, and He didn't give it to me. Every time I ask for something, He always gives it to me. So the traveler is like, wow, that's actually amazing. But then the baker is like, wait, no, you know what? I take that back, because every time I make dua, it always gets accepted, except that this one dua, every time I make, it never gets accepted. And listen, back in the day, there was like no social media, there was like no technology, none of that stuff. So he's like, this dua never gets accepted for some reason. And so the traveler is like, well, what is that dua? Can you just tell me? Because I'm kind of curious. And so the baker, he's like, well, here's the thing. There is this color, He's like from a completely different city, from Syria or something. His name is Imam Ahmed. I think that's his name, by the way. I don't remember if that's his name or not, but I think that's his name. He's like, his name is Imam Ahmed. And every time I hear about him, I'm like, man, if I just met that guy, I would get so much knowledge from him. And so the traveler, he just looks at the guy, he's like about to cry. Like the traveler himself, he's about to cry. He's like, Habibi, don't you just realize Allah literally took Imam Ahmed and he kicked him from the masjid to your bakery right here. I am Imam Ahmed. And so the baker was like so shocked. He's like, no freaking way. Obviously he didn't say that like word for word. But he's like, no way. Like, are you serious? He's like, yes, I am Imam Ahmed. And so I'm coming here to like seek knowledge and all that stuff. The whole point of the story, bro, the whole point of it is that astaghfirullah, saying astaghfirullah, the more you ask for forgiveness, the more Allah's going to give you anything that you want. Anything that you want. So when I say, I dare you to say these two words and then not see your dream life manifest to reality, and then I give you 100% guarantee, you think this is one of those things where it's like, they give you a guarantee, but it's like not really a guarantee and stuff. I'm telling you, it's a guarantee because this right here is like a divine law. And so it's like when you ask for forgiveness, what happens to your life when you start asking for forgiveness? Well, if you look right here, ask forgiveness of your Lord. Indeed, He's an ever perpetual forgiver. By the way, this means that, like this specific word, ghafara, it means that whatever you do, you go kill someone, you go do like the worst sins ever, if you just decide to come back, like you'll be accepted. This doesn't mean go ahead and kill people and stuff like that. That's not what it means. Like you truly have to like have this in your heart. But then Allah's like what happens when you actually start asking for forgiveness from Allah directly? Well, here, يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. Allah's going to give you rain from the sky. Now it's like you can think of it, it's like usually rain is synonymous with wealth itself. So it's not just rain. Like, yeah, rain is beautiful and stuff, but like why rain specifically? Back in the day when people used to see rain, they're like, whoa, rain is the definition of wealth. When you have rain, crops come out, you can sell these crops, you can get more like blessings and all that stuff. But then like Allah literally said it, He's like, and give you increase in wealth and children and provide you gardens and like provide for you rivers and all that stuff. Like, if I see something in the Quran, I'm like, it's a divine promise. It's a divine law. This thing is never going to change. So 10 years from now, billion years from now, this law is going to remain the same. So if you always ask for forgiveness from Allah, this is always going to happen. And bro, the other day I was thinking, I'm like, how does it happen? How does all of this happen? Because usually, like even when you look at miracles, for example, there is always like explanation for miracles, and then when you study it, you're like, it'll increase you in faith even more. Like when I talk about electromagnetic fields and all that stuff, when I talk about directions and it's like the way you face gives you more blessings and all that, like you guys think that I'm joking? You guys think that I'm telling you things that are not even scientific, but in reality, there's so much studies that have been done on all these things, and especially from like quantum physics, and people usually call it pseudo-science. This stuff is not pseudo-science. This stuff right here can actually change the world. So I was looking at, I'm like, what's the explanation behind this? Like we know this stuff right here exists, but what's the explanation behind this? So think of it. In life, in this whole universe, right? Allah created this thing where it's called balance, which basically means balance, right? And so if you look at this ayah right here, Allah's like, and the heaven He raised and imposed the balance. And then the next ayah, Allah's like, here is like, do not transgress within this balance. So what do I mean by balance? So look, we need to have more people, like more scientists that are actually studying the world of the inner self, not just the world of the outside, but like the inner self. So I'm studying these things, right? I'm doing a lot of studies about these things, by the way, because it's so interesting. What I noticed, bro, is that the specific feelings you have, let's just say you are always walking around feeling guilty. If you're always walking around feeling guilty, don't you realize there's going to be a balance happening? So if someone is guilty, doesn't that mean that they've done a crime, for example? Whether if it's like small or big, but they've done a crime. So a divine law is that there's not a single crime in the world that goes unnoticed, that goes like unsolved. Everything's going to have its justice. So if you're walking around all the time, walking around feeling guilty, what do you think is going to happen? You literally walk around, and by this law of like balancing forces, you're just going to have things that come into your life that try to like balance this thing where it's like, if you're feeling guilty, well, Allah's going to send a punishment for you just so you can be relieved of this guilt. Because when you're guilty, your mind subconsciously, it's like the only way this is going to be relieved is that if I either get forgiveness or I get treated for my crime. So it says right here that if you ask for forgiveness, Allah's going to start giving you wealth and children and send to you lots of blessings, because what's happening is that you're fixing this guilt within you. When you fix this guilt, automatically it's like you go back to the balance. So if you look right here, I was actually reading this book, Reality Transurfing. So it's like guilt necessarily gives birth to the punishment scenario. And this happens without your mind even being aware of it. So whenever you're feeling guilty, it's almost like you're literally asking to be punished. Because the only way you're going to be relieved from this guilt is through the punishment. If you notice in yourself even the slightest manifestation of guilt, hurry to get rid of this useless burden. Because listen, like this is one of the tricks that Shaitan tries to put on people. Anything that they do, he always tries to make them feel guilty. Like for example, let's just say you woke up from Fajr, or you woke up in the morning and you missed Fajr, you missed the morning prayer, but like you just slept through it. So if you missed the morning prayer, does that mean you're going to start to have, like you have to live your whole day, your entire day feeling guilty? Who said that the entire day you have to like live it feeling guilty? Like you do realize, like the other day I was out with the wife, right? We ate and stuff, and then I'm like, you know what, let's bring dessert. So we brought desserts, and then this girl is like, you know, if I eat this dessert, I'm going to be fat and stuff like that. I'm like, listen, you feeling guilty is worse than you eating this dessert. Eat the dessert. Stop feeling guilty. Just go and freaking eat it. Habibi, you having this feeling of guilt within you, walking around 24/7 with this guilt is worse than you even going and eating unhealthy things. Like, let's just say, the night before, you watched a bunch of porn, and then you woke up, and then, like, you just woke up, and all of a sudden, it's like you're feeling so much guilt. That's good. That's not bad. But Habibi, relieve yourself from this guilt. Don't be walking around always having this guilt within you. This guilt, like, remember, it's like the inner world usually creates the outer world. So if you're always walking around feeling guilty, what's going to happen to your life? You're going to create an entire life that keeps sending you punishments. And again, like, you guys think I'm taking this stuff out of just from my mind and stuff like that. It's not from my mind. It's literally in the Quran. Istighfar removes anxiety, increases dua acceptance, opens the door for sustenance, like wealth, increases the door of opening the door of mercy, knowledge, and all that stuff. Like, whenever you're feeling guilty, Habibi, just know that it's almost like Allah's way of telling you, this is the time to go and ask for forgiveness. Don't be letting this feeling within you throughout the entire day. And don't even let other people try and come and make you feel guilty. Like, if you went and you killed someone, okay, I understand. You should start feeling so guilty about that. But then, like, literally go ahead and start fixing that issue. And then what's going to happen is that, listen, it's going to start showing even in your personality. When you relieve this feeling of guilt, it's going to start showing. Like, let's just say you're trying to close clients. Well, when you do get on a call with clients, you're going to be coming from a place where it's like, you're not really feeling needy. It's like you're coming to them, talking to them from a place where it's like, you are the man or the woman. Like, you're talking to them like you're the independent one. Like, you don't need for them to buy or not buy. It's like you don't mind. And it's also like you're not talking to them like they're also bigger than you, because you realize it's like there's obviously like no one bigger except Allah. So when you talk to people from the state, they'll literally notice it on you. Now take that and then compare it with someone who's never done any forgiveness, who's always walking around feeling guilty. How does their voice even sound like? How does their personality even look like? They're just there. It's like they walk around and they just feel so sorry. They walk around and hit someone, they're like, so sorry, bro. I know in Canada everyone hits other people and they're like, sorry. Listen, I know it's like manners, etiquette or whatever, but stop walking around feeling sorry for yourself. Stop being sorry. Like, Habibi, you know, because this used to be such a big deal to me. I remember the first time I made $10,000 in a month when I was doing dropshipping. I made $10,000 and then I started feeling guilty about it. And then, like, if I look back to that time right now, I'm like, why am I feeling guilty, bro? Why the heck am I feeling guilty? Like, I just felt guilty because I'm like, no, you know what? Now I have like a bit too much money, even though it was not even too much money. I'm like, now I have too much money. And it's like, it's not good for a Muslim to have too much money and stuff like that. Habibi, what are you saying? What are you saying? Allah himself is saying that if you ask for forgiveness, you're going to have more wealth. You are literally going to have more money. Like, money, not even wealth. And Habibi, the reason why I'm making this video is because this is such a great pandemic. This is literally a pandemic. Almost every Muslim walks around feeling guilty. Why are you feeling guilty? And mostly it's because, like, whenever they miss a prayer, for example, automatically they feel guilty. But, like, don't you remember, bro? Like, Allah himself is saying that you praying once properly is going to fix every little sin that you did in the past. It's going to fix all of it. All the sins, actually, they're going to turn into, like, good deeds. So what are you so guilty about? So what's going to happen is that when you start saying these two words, which is astaghfirullah, what's going to happen is that now You're going to try to do all the work that you're supposed to do. Like if you have a business, you're going to be doing all the work from a place of like independency, from a place of abundance, and not from a place where it's like you're just this like little minute human being that everybody just comes in and steps on them and stuff like that. That's not going to be you anymore. Like you'll notice that any work that you do actually has power in it. It has good energy in it. And this is why exactly like in that story, this guy was baking. He was literally baking. And while he was touching the bread, he's like, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. And even if you think that you have no sins, you still do this. And then once you do this, Habib, once you do this, whatever goal you have, whatever goals you have for this exact year, you'll notice that they're going to come even faster and so much easier. And you know what's so beautiful is that I keep seeing videos like these or like videos like these, just videos all over the place of people talking about like their experience with istighfar. And I find that so beautiful because like even it's so beautiful because people are finally realizing, even though this one's like 4 years ago, people are finally realizing that istighfar in of itself, like asking for forgiveness in of itself, is such a powerful thing. This is where you're going to start seeing like even Allah is blessing you from places that you can't even imagine. And so all I ask from you, Habibi, all I ask from you is just these two words, Astaghfirullah. Try to say them at least 100 times per day, at least 100 times per day, and then just see what's going to happen in your life. Have your goals, whatever goals you want, like whatever goals you have. And it doesn't, listen, even the goals that you make, you don't have to be feeling guilty about them. If you want 1 million a month, don't feel guilty about it. Like literally make that your goal. And then as you're working, literally as you're doing the work, say Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. As you're driving, say Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. And also be aware of what's happening here. Because listen, once again, I told you, whatever is happening inside here is creating everything here. So when you're aware of what's happening inside here, and then you notice it's like, listen, you know what, here there's like a negative thought or like a negative feeling. Okay, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah, Astaghfirullah. And you keep doing that over and over again. This feeling right here is going to turn into like whatever positive feeling you want. And trust me, like try this. Like that's what it means when Allah is saying that all the bad deeds that you have, they're going to be turned into good deeds. Because now it's like whatever negative feeling that you're having right here, guilt, anger, shame, any of these things, you keep saying that, and all of a sudden it's like you'll notice that slowly it's turning into gratitude. It's turning into like actual being content, peace. And then when that happens, when you're actually living in the state, in the world, then slowly you'll notice that the world is going to start conforming to whatever you're feeling on the inside as well. Because once again, Allah is saying right here, Allah does not change the condition of a people until they change their own condition. حَتَّى يُغَيِّرُوا مَا بِأَنفُسِهِمْ, from what's within, like their soul. And then when you change what's happening within your soul, and by the way, the soul, it's like, what is it? Once again, I told you about it. It's just this electromagnetic field, which is created by the thoughts and feelings. So when this soul is cleansed, well, Habibi, when the soul is cleansed, like your condition, like your actual outside life is going to change. And this is so beautiful.